Help dig us out.
Help dig us out.
Help dig us out.
The bait companies open up at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. There's 20 people working at those bait shops, getting ready to load the lobster boats for the day.
A lot of the stuff that comes in over these wharves winds up in a lot of small towns up and down the coast. The Portland waterfront is important to my hometown of Harpswell, having goods and bait delivered and fuel, trap supplies. A lot of things that we can't get down on the islands are here.
We have the last deep water port in the state of Maine where you can bring these big vessels in, these big herring boats in to unload herring. And we have a transportation system that's second to none until you reach Boston.
But the port's future, its economic viability, and the safety of the people that work on the waterfront are all at risk.
Our working waterfront is in peril with a simple issue of silt that is built up around the piers, requiring dredging to be done to accommodate the fleet of 20 groundfish vessels and more than 200 plus lobster vessels.
So what you see here is the bottom. We have 1.9 feet under the transducer, and we're in the middle of the channel. Every time we come into the berth with one of our larger vessels, if the tide's low, we're playing roulette with getting something wrapped up in the propeller.
I'm Ryan Raber from the fishing vessel Prohibitively. We operate at Deeks Wharf in Portland, Maine, primarily for lobster bait for the state of Maine. We aren't able to unload or bring our vessel to the wharf 4 hours on each low tide, which causes us to either race home from the fishing grounds at full power using a lot of diesel, or we have to wait to unload when other competitors are already unloaded and going back on their next trip.
The property owners can't afford to dredge the silt that is poisonous that has been building up over the years. It's industrial problems. It's been waters that's flowing down. It's sewage outfall. It's been historically dumped into the harbor. It's oil from the streets, from cars. It's coming from the lack of understanding way back when that these needed to be controlled.
Boat propellers and storms disturb the sediment, which affects the local lobster fishery. It's important that we have clean water to keep that fishery alive.
The more silt and sand it fills in, we lose berthing. Boats can't go in because of the tide, so they end up rafting together. There's safety concerns with rafting, especially if you're on the outside. Imagine trying to move people and equipment over boats that you're not familiar with, especially in all kinds of weather.
We can't work here 6 to 7 hours a day near low tide. And when that happens to be in the best part of the day, the middle of the day, that means we have to come in very early or very late. And this time of year, you have to end up working in the dark very often, which is more dangerous. And if the emergency on an island happens at low tide, we cannot respond.
One of our biggest issues is when we pull in over here on a medical, we go bow in, and so at low water, the bow is in the mud. We don't even pull up as far as we'd like to pull up. But we go until there's no more water. It's a public safety issue if we can't get the boat to where we need to get because we don't have the water there.
We lose about 5 to 7 people each year in Portland Harbor, end up drowning because of either exposure in the water and because they've fallen into the water. If we dredge, we could reduce that number. So dredging in and of itself could save lives.
Maine ports are poised to embrace opportunities to support the development of offshore wind energy in the Gulf of Maine. Port of Portland has facilities that could be used to support offshore wind energy projects in maintenance or survey operations, but only if the harbor has adequate dredging to berth those vessels. Port of Portland is America's closest container port to Europe, and dredging is critical to maintain long-term viability and growth of the port.
We employ 40 people, all of them are immigrants. We are processing sea urchins, sea cucumbers, hagfish, and tuna. It's very important the boats bring a seafood to us. It is hard for the main boats to bring products because of when you get the low tide, it's difficult.
Local seafood is very important to Becky's Diner. Waterfront access is critical to the seafood economy and the entire tourism economy of Portland.
Harvesting of seafood provides opportunities for a large cross-section of our society. Immigrants, folks in recovery, folks re-entering the workforce after struggling in life, It's hard work, but honest work that is open to anyone willing to work. If we lose the berths, I'm unsure where many of these folks will go to earn a living.
Casco Bay Line serves 6 islands and 3 municipalities. The ferries are the lifeline to the islands, transporting over 1 million passengers annually, over 40,000 vehicles, and over 500,000 pieces of freight.
If we dredge, thousands of feet of berthing will be renewed, improved, and deepened.
We've got the commitment of 2 cities, the state of Maine, the Harbor Commission, the Portland Council of Governments, and over 30 private property owners.
And that's in addition to dozens of other project supporters with virtually no opposition. This region is united in support of this project.
This is the most collaborative project we've ever seen.
Our project received the first Merged Lands Brownfield Assessment Grant. Working with this project for over 10 years, our team has helped broaden the understanding of pollution abatement, marine science, and the value of the marine economy.
By bringing together more than 40 projects with 32 individual wharf owners into a single comprehensive dredge project with only 2 permits already in hand and shovel-ready, we have achieved maximum efficiency. Our innovative approach has broken new ground in collaboration, permitting, environmental mitigation, and stakeholder engagement. We've raised a lot of funding locally, but we can't do it all on our own. So please, USDOT, help dig us out. Help dig us out!